Today is December 7th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through Chapter 10 to Employers. We'll be reading page 142. At the 12 and 12, we're finishing up Tradition 7 by reading page 165. And we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. We've been given another set of 24 hours, and that is always an exciting thing. Even if you're fighting a sinus infection and possibly a strep throat. So guys, I apologize in advance for my voice, but we're going to carry on. The show must go on, right? All right, let's get to the good stuff. Chapter 10, to Employers, page 142. Next, he can be assured that you do not intend to lecture, moralize, or condemn. That if this was done formally, it was because of misunderstanding. If possible, express a lack of hard feeling toward him. At this point, it might be well to explain alcoholism, the illness. Say that you believe that he is a gravely ill person. With this qualification, perhaps fatally ill. Does he want to get well? You ask because many alcoholics, being warped and drugged, do not want to quit. But does he? Will he take every necessary step, submit to anything to get well, to stop drinking forever? If he says yes, does he really mean it? Or down inside does he think that he's fooling you, and that after rest and treatment he'll be able to get away with a few drinks now and then? We believe a man should be thoroughly probed on these points. Be satisfied he is not deceiving himself or you. Whether you mention this book is a matter of your discretion. If he temporizes and still thinks that he can never drink again, even beer, he might as well be discharged after the next bender, which, if an alcoholic, he's almost certain to have. He should understand that emphatically. Either you are dealing with a man who can and will get well, or you're not. If not, why waste time with him? This may seem severe, but it's usually the best course. After satisfying yourself that your man wants to recover, and that he will go to any extreme to do so, you may suggest a definite course of action. For most alcoholics who are drinking, or who are just getting over a spree, a certain amount of physical treatment is desirable, even imperative. The matter of physical treatment should, of course, be referred to your own doctor. Whatever the method, its object is to thoroughly clear mind and body of the effects of alcohol. In competent hands, this seldom takes long, nor is it very expensive. Your man will fare better if placed in such a physical condition that he can think straight and no longer craves liquor. If you propose such a procedure to him, it may be necessary to advance the cost of the treatment. But we believe that it should be made plain that any expense will later be deducted from his pay. It's better for him to feel fully responsible. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 7. Every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. And yesterday, if you recall from the reading, AA was gifted $10,000. And it created some complications, so let's see what happens on page 165 to finish off the tradition. Then our trustees wrote a bright page of AA history. They declared for the principle that AA must always stay poor. Bare running expenses plus a prudent reserve would henceforth be the foundation's financial policy. Difficult as it was, they officially declined the $10,000 and adopted a formal, airtight resolution that all future gifts will be similarly declined. At that moment, we believe, the principle of corporate poverty was firmly and finally embedded in AA tradition. When these facts were printed, there was a profound reaction. To people familiar with endless drives for charitable funds, AA presented a strange and refreshing spectacle. Approving editorials here and abroad generated a new wave of confidence in the integrity of Alcoholics Anonymous. They pointed out that the irresponsible had become responsible, and that by making financial independence part of its tradition, Alcoholics Anonymous had revived an ideal that its era had almost forgotten. "24 hours a day, December 7th. AA thought for the day. When people come back to AA after having a slip, the temptation's strong to say nothing about it. No other AA member should force them to declare themselves. It's entirely up to them. If they are well grounded in AA, they will realize that it's up to them to speak up at the next meeting and tell about their slip. There's no possible evasion of this duty. If they are thoroughly honest and really desirous of living the AA way again, when they have done it, their old confidence returns. They're home again. Their slips should not be mentioned again by others. Am I tolerant of other people's mistakes? Meditation for the day. It is in the union of a soul with God that strength, new life, and spiritual power come. Bread sustains the body, but we cannot live by bread alone. To try to do the will of God is the meat and support of true living. We feed on that spiritual food. Soul starvation comes from failing to do so. The world talks about bodies that are undernourished. What of the souls that are undernourished? Strength and peace come from partaking of spiritual food. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not try to live by bread alone. I pray that my spirit may live by trying to do the will of God as I understand it. Daily Reflection, December 7th. True ambition. True ambition is not what we thought it was. True ambition is the deep desire to live usefully and walk humbly under the grace of God. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 124 and 125. During my drinking years, my one and only concern was to have my fellow man think highly of me. My ambition in everything I did was to have the power to be at the top. My inner self kept telling me something else, but I couldn't accept it. I didn't even allow myself to realize that I wore a mask continually. Finally, when the mask came off and I cried out to the only God that I can conceive, the Fellowship of AA, my group, and the 12 Steps were there. I learned how to change resentments into acceptance, fear into hope, and anger into love. I have learned also, through loving without undue expectations, through sharing my concerns and caring for my fellow man, that each day can be joyous and fruitful. I begin and end my day with thanks to God, who has so generously shed His grace on me. Alright, my friends, that concludes today's reading, and man, oh man, could I relate to the Daily Reflections, that last reading. I was what do they call it? An egomaniac with an inferiority complex. That was me. Didn't know that was me, but my actions proved it. I would put on a mask for this situation and a mask for this one. Even as a kid, I did it. I tried to be the class clown, although that didn't work. I tried to be this kind of guy to be accepted, right? I just wanted to feel like I belonged. But honestly, it took going down the road of alcoholism, believe it or not, for me to finally find a group where I feel like I belong. But, all joking aside, by doing the 12 steps, I've gained a closer relationship with my higher power. And I want to serve out of gratitude and the grace I've received from my higher power. And when I work the steps, I take that inventory and just like the 24 hours a day, and I kind of confess. I used to be so afraid of confession, right? Oh, if I admit that I slipped again, or if I admit this or that, or XYZ, fill in the blank, so-and-so will never look at me the same way again. Those are all the fears that I would hold in, right? And would prevent me from confessing something that I did to a trusted friend. But all I can say is, In my experience, that's been a lie. When I first started doing the steps and I finally had to reveal everything that I was struggling with, I chose a trusted friend. And when I told them, I was healed. And he said that he was blessed because I was honest. And he appreciated me confiding in him. And he made me feel like I wasn't the only one who ever wrestled with that before. Therefore, I felt peace. And I felt healing. So all those fears were not real. It was false evidence appearing real. So anyway, long story short, when I work the program to the best of my ability each day, I do feel that sense of peace. And I love this line, each day can be joyous and fruitful. And I love the last line, I begin and end my day with thanks to God, who has so generously shed his grace on me. What a blessing it is to be alive today and to be sober. So if we're given another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.